Yes, welcome back to this tutorial, and in the previous lecture we looked at integer data types, and now we're gonna look at the second, which is float. Alright, so if anyone didn't know my name, I'm here to remind you that my name is Evander Aarons. I know some of you don't know my name, though it's a joke. But before we go to the next lecture, I wanted you to know me very well, and that's my name. Alright, so let's go to our next data type, which is float. And float, here we are looking at all data or values that have points in them. So it can be anything from 0.1 to anything that has points. Alright, so if you have 0.1 or 0.001 or 100.90, all this is float. Okay, so we have float, and then there's another confusing data type called double. So float are those data values that have decimal places less than I wanted this. So float corresponds to be a float. All the decimal points must be less than 6. Okay, then a double is the one that has decimal places greater than 6. So if you have a number and maybe you're performing a division and you expect place values to be more than 6 and you want to hold all of them, then don't declare it as float, simply declare it as a double. So that's the logic, and it's done. And when do we use a double? First and foremost, when do you use a float? First and foremost is when we are picking values that result into decimal places. Let's say you're calculating tax, and our VAT tax in Uganda is always 18% of 100. So this yields the answer something like 0.18. If I'm not mistaken, my math is poor. So if you get something like this, then it is of data type float, and if you declare this as float, then it will give you this. But if you happen to declare this as int, then you won't get this. You will have the answer as 0. Okay, let's get into the practical bit of it, and you'll see what I'm trying to mean. So this is a program to demonstrate float type. Okay, so we have, let's first use this. Float age is equal to 12.5. okay, then we have float y 7.5, and then we have float y equals 7. So if we output everything here the way it is, we first neglect the size of right now and we work with our values. So here's the answer. First, we are saying 12, yet we are talking about floats. Here it is int equals 12.5, and then it is truncated to 12. So in other words, everything that has a point and it is declared as int is automatically rounded off to 12. But if we come here and then change this one to float, we run it again, this becomes 12.5. okay, so everything that has a point becomes a float, and everything that has no point becomes an int. Then next we are printing the next line, which is 7.5, and that is our float 7.5. Then we also have this one, last one, which is 7. It has no point, then it becomes a float, though it got no point. So now if we print the size of a float like this we did in the previous, so also float has how many? 4 decimal places. It has a size of 4 bytes, so that's about 2 power 4, and that is 16 bits. Alright, So if you really understand and remember how we did the calculation of 2 power 4 and what it meant, then the same multiplies to floats. So let's do some simple calculation here. I want to say our salary, sorry, it is float salary. Let's say someone earns 700 or 7,000, like that. Then here I want to get some tax of that. So tax is 18% is the same as 0.18 of that salary. Okay, now this will calculate 18% of salary and it will be returned as our tax. So if we print out the value of our tax, sorry, this shouldn't be there, because in fact we should change the x to salary, like that. So now we have 12.5 as the age, then our salary is 7,000, our y is 7, and then the tax is 1,260 shillings. Okay, if at all it had a point, then it would be printed with this point, but then in this case it has no point. Let's check the percentage. Maybe we can make it 12 and we print out the result. So if you make it 12, it is 840, and if you make this one 11, I'll see if we can get some point. Okay, 770, then let's make it 0.0104, like that. So if you make it 0.04, still is 280, then alright, it has no point. So if you make this one 700.10 and then you calculate that taxi, you see now it has points, 28.004. that's the taxi. So now you get a difference between float and int. Then if I can proceed and make a very strange, as I want to divide 1 by 3. Okay, let me make this one 3. Okay, and then here I'm outputting y over age, like that. So you see, it only rounded them to 6 decimal places. So it is 0.33333 up to infinity, but now it has rounded off this one to only 6 decimal places. So in other words, float only happens for 6 decimal places. Okay, then if you change this one, let's say to double, and you also change this one to double, then you should see a very different answer. So it's the same in this case. It is automatically rounding off to 6 decimal places, but in the future case we'll be fixing them to have more decimal places. Alright, we'll meet in the next lecture. Please subscribe and follow me. Okay.